Order the Westmont Village Board meeting of November 16th, 2023 to order at 6 o'clock p.m. and ask Clerk Simsky for roll call, please.
Mayor Gunther?
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Barker?
Here.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Guzzo?
Here.
Trustee Little?
Here.
Trustee Nero?
Here.
Trustee Simonovich is absent tonight. Attorney Zemanek?
Here.
Village Manager May?
Here.
Assistant Village Manager Parker.
Here. Would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. Our first item is open forum, and I have a request. This is an opportunity for someone to give public comment on an item that's not on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, we give the public an opportunity to question it at that point. So we have one open forum request from Dwayne Newton. Come on up to the podium, 10 West Troppy.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As mentioned, named Dwayne Newton. Property owner, family, longtime Westmont. Father, born in a house on Richmond in Westmont. My grandmother on 10 West Trowbridge. Wasn't born there, but that's where she lived. I, through employment, lived and hung around Westmont all my life until 89, 90. I, through employment, had to move away. Now I'm retired, want to come back, and things have changed. And zoning. The house property is in a zoning district with very limited uses. And the house, I would like to do some improvements and a little expansion. But through the ordinance, I have very limited ability to do any of that. So with the revamping or the amendments going on with the zoning ordinance, I would like or if I can speak with somebody within the township development community or zoning planning to see if, I've been in touch with email, but I don't like that kind of correspondence. There's a lot of lost.
Yep.
We
agree with you.
So, yeah, I like that opportunity, and, yeah, I mean, the zoning ordinance, I mean, I was like in this R4 district where I would be able to do things, but somehow, some way, well, it was changed to this R1, or OR1, and I've inquired to rezone on my behalf. It's a process, and it sounds expensive. And again, I don't think I need, you kind of know where I'm going with all this, I believe. So that's that. And then, meeting before, they talked about garbage. I'm interested in all this stuff. Recycle, yard waste. Like right now you have, it's an extra fee. These contracts that were bids, was that included? You know, my daddy's out in another area and he gets all 3 buckets for their contract. I don't know how all these contracts are negotiated, but you know, he gets recycle, yard waste, and
we looked at different options. I know recycling is every other week now, and free leaf, as many as you want this month.
Yeah, this month.
Yeah, so we have some in that, I think on the 30th, I would hope you come back for that committee meeting.
well, we'll see if I'm around. I'm back and forth from, again, I'm really a Michigan resident, but I'm here a lot now ever since a little health issue about 4 years ago, and my dad being elderly more, and so I'm here to attend to him and
Well, during that,
myself.
you're welcome to ask questions as we're going through the RFP's next meeting. You don't have to wait. You can
RFP.
Pardon?
RFP.
That's a request for proposal, what we just
Okay.
looked at. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the guy who you want to talk to is hiding back there. Joe, he could be the one if you want to just,
I think you've been in contact with community development, right?
Correct.
That's where you've learned all your.
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So who is it you're looking to discuss what with?
Who, you tell me.
Probably start with
You
Joe.
you know I want to be able to do a little expansion or an improvement. So do I talk to planning or zoning, or do I talk to
The community development department, but
Right.
probably planning it within that.
And maybe Joe, on your way out, he can introduce himself. He'd be the one you would go through to
I
start.
know the name, and we've had a little, but again, the email thing, I'm more of a.
You could see his
more of
face
a-
today.
This kind of a guy, you know what I mean?
Well, thank you. He
Okay,
should be able
thank
to
you,
help
thank
you.
you.
Thank you. No other open forum. I'll go on to my report. I do have one item that, it's been 10 years since we lost Mayor Bill Ron already. He lived in Westmont his entire life. When he was away attending college, he still came home. He was very active in the community, and he is the longest-serving mayor we've had, from 99 to 2013. We just want to remember him. He was our champion of Westmont. Last week, I held a downtown Westmont business meeting, and we shared with them different thoughts and plans going forward. It was a very good meeting. That's when we introduced the incentive program that we're offering. In December, I think the 13th, Larry, is that? I'm going to hold a South Business District at the Tico Center, 8 o'clock on the 13th for
Or coffees with the mayor.
Coffee with the Mayor,
Program.
yes. I want to meet with the business community. I'm going to offer some coffees with the mayor for the residents beginning next year. So 3-4 times I'll have coffee with the mayor. I started doing that years ago, and it kind of fizzled, so we want to bring that back up. It's an opportunity to get to talk with the residents direct over coffee. So that's, and I just got borrowed Clerk Simsky, I think, and again, the drop boxes are relocated due to the construction here. They've been moved to the corner of Quincy and Grant. So if those who want to drop off their bills, it's a little bit further down. So that's all I have. Clerk Simsky.
Village offices will be closed November 23rd and 24th for Thanksgiving, as well as December 22nd and 25th for Christmas. Additional closures are listed on the village website. Okay.
No, that's all right. And we'll turn to Trustee Little, Administration Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. We had our Administration and Finance Committee meeting this afternoon at 4:30 right here in Village Hall. And the topics of discussion were the DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau Executive Director of Tourism Beth Marchetti was here and just gave a presentation on all the major events that are coming to Westmont and the rest of DuPage County. Particularly the Natatorium Pickleball, the Hilton, Oakbrook Hills, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all very, very good. Everything is improving, and we're very happy to see this, and it's all positive and glowing, so that's a good thing. We did talk about the waste RFP response summary that was prepared for us by staff. We talked about 5 different entities, including our current provider, Waste Management. Some of the concerns were senior pricing, who does the billing, and multiple size totes, and more of that will be forthcoming. We discussed compensation study, just how it's become updated and how it will impact the staff. More information of that will be coming forth. And I think I'll cut out on that one. So the next idea, or the next item is holidays, a full schedule of Holidays festival events have been posted on the village website, so please mark your calendars right now for Holidays Parade, which will be the first Saturday in December, the 2nd, which starts at 5 o'clock. The parade route will start at Cass and Naperville Road, head south on Cass, across the tracks, then turn west on Quincy. At the end of the parade, there'll be a tree lighting ceremony followed by pictures with Santa inside the train station. And last, Westmont Special Events Organization and the Creative Arts Network has launched their latest mural program. Interested businesses should contact Westmont Special Events for information at 630-829-9378 or WSEC@westmontevents.com. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and we'll turn to Trustee Nero, Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next Public Works Committee meeting is December 28th, 4:30, right here at Village Hall. And then just a couple quick updates on our free leaf pickup that's good through December 1st. And again, just a reminder, this is part of our current contract with Waste Management. It is free leaf collection ending on December 1st. Residents are allowed to put out unlimited craft paper bags free of charge next to their garbage on the regularly scheduled pickup day. And as a friendly reminder, please do not rake any leaves into the streets so we can keep drainage working appropriately and ensure a safe driving service, especially with the ice coming around the corner. And then last but not least, West Quincy Phase 2 Visioning Workshop. Specific stakeholders and the public at large are invited to participate in this upcoming West Quincy Phase 2 workshop. This is a visioning workshop, so we're looking for participation December 7th, 4:30, right here at Village Hall. And that is all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Simonovich is absent today, so she's the Police Public Safety Committee. The next meeting will be January 25th, 4:30 here. And the coat drive. The police department is hosting a coat drive now through November 30th. All the collected, gently used or new coats will be donated to our own People's Resource Center here in Westmont. Trustee Johanna Guzzo, Fire Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our next Fire Public Safety Committee meeting will be here at Village Hall, December 14th at 4:30. Everyone is invited to attend. Next, holiday fire safety and something that's very near and dear to my heart, keep the wreath red. Once again, the fire department is reminding residents to keep the wreath red this holiday season. Information regarding this program and holiday fire safety tips have been published on the website. Thanksgiving is one of the 3 holidays for reported home fires, so it's important for people to be diligent about keeping their family safe. And in the Keep the Red program, what'll happen is the wreath's going to have all red bulbs in it. If there is a fire that is started by anyone's Christmas decorations, one of those red bulbs will be removed and it'll be replaced by a white one. So please, I ask everyone to please help us all keep the wreath red. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you. Trustee Brady, Community Development.
The next Community Development Committee meeting will be held on February 8th at 4:30 at the Village Hall. The application window for the Downtown Incentive Program was opened on Monday, November 13th. As of this time, 2 applications have been submitted, both for fire suppression systems. The initial application window will remain open until December 8th, after which time we only accept if funding remains available. The staff anticipates providing the municipal code amendments for the outdoor dining in the public right-of-way for consideration at the November 30th board meeting. The next Planning and Zoning Commission meeting is scheduled for December 13th.
Thank you. And Trustee Barker, Environmental Improvement Committee in Westmont First.
Thank you, Mayor. The EIC will have their next meeting on December 4th at 5:30 PM here in Village Hall. I wanted to report the pumpkin composting recap would be, we want to thank the volunteers of the Environmental Improvement Committee and the staff for coordinating and, coming out and making sure that that event was run properly. That was held in the library parking lot. Thank you to the library for their cooperation. And a total of 112 vehicles participated in the drop-off of their pumpkins. That, again, is to keep them out of the landfill. Holiday Lights Recycling, the collection boxes for the Holiday Lights Recycling Program are in place now through January 31st. They're located at the Westmont Public Library and Johannic Fire Station. November 26th, vegetable cooking oil recycling will start On Saturday after Thanksgiving, there will be multiple locations throughout DuPage County that will host a vegetable cooking oil recycling collection. And check out the website for locations, times, and details. And then lastly, I'm happy to report, with some assistance from the, volunteer residents on the EIC, staff has informed me that the dark skies compliant fixtures on Pasquinelli Drive and Oakmont Drive have been installed. The Pasquinelli Drive, so if you're up that way, those are 3,000 Kelvin light fixtures, and then on Oakmont, they're 2,700 Kelvin, and this is an opportunity for the residents and the village board and the staff, or whoever wants to go up there and see what we're talking about when we talk about a dark sky compliant fixture, one that is shielded on the sides and shielded on the top, where the light goes directly down where you need it. So I'm happy to report that, and I thank staff for their work on it. That is all. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you. I know that was a big item for EIC. We'll move on. Does any board member have any item to
I have a
remove?
question.
Yes.
What do you do with all the pumpkins?
They actually are picked up by Waste Management, and then that's recycled into compost. Last I heard, Scott's had a contract with them, so they took that, they have a composting location, and then it's
thank
turned into soil, put in bags, and sold back to us in a different form.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
thank you. Does any board member have any item they want removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'd ask Manager May to please read.
Possible, because there's only
There's
two
only
items
5
on the
items.
consent. First is Village Board meeting minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Village Board meeting held November 2nd, 2023. That's followed by Finance Ordinance number 15 in the amount of $2,310,666.02. There are no individual purchase orders, so that is the entire consent agenda this evening.
You have a motion to approve as read?
Motion to approve is read, Little.
Second, Nero.
Motion been made and second. Any comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Brady,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to new business. DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau Agreement. Board to consider an ordinance approving an agreement with the DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau to act as the official tourism marketing partner for the Village of Westmont. Executive Director, you're going to get to come up here again, Beth Mercado. I think you talked to us before. You just want to give a quick summary.
Quick summary. Thank you again.
That's it.
4:30, I
All right, we're
was here. As you know, we are driving an economic driver for tax receipts, not only hotel, food and beverage, retail, motor fuel, utilities, and we are funded by hotel tax on the state through a matching grant, and so we generate grant applications, and then we have to demonstrate to the state of Illinois that we have a mechanism to match that grant. So generously, Westmont has been a partner ever since I've been with the Bureau, since 2000, and we are seeking to have a contract again to continue our partnership, which includes sales efforts, marketing efforts, and particularly with the new natatorium and some pickleball things that are going on in the village. We would like to make sure that we're front and center with sports, and particularly for 2026, as we welcome international visitors for the PGA Tour with President's Cup, and the 100th anniversary of Route 66, and some other things that are going on that year. So I'm seeking to have approval for our continued partnership, and I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Is that
Do I have a motion? Yes.
No, so this evening, it's word, it used to be, we used to call it a promissory letter,
Correct.
and tonight it's called a promissory agreement to continue that relationship for 2 years as laid out in the agreement.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion. Go ahead.
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion been made and second. Any comments, questions?
Just a quick comment, Mayor. I just wanted to thank Beth and her team. You know, I've worked with her on a couple of different projects, and they really do fight for the village. And it's, there's a big county, but they take care of Westmont, and I appreciate it. So thank you.
It's a win-win for us, especially with Oak Brook Hills and the other hotels we have. She's promoting and getting big events here. So ask for roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Motion passes. So, thank you for coming. B, new business B, urban tri-gear parking variance, 17 East Chicago Avenue. Board to consider ordinance approving a zoning ordinance variance request to reduce the number of off-street parking stalls in the B2 General Business District. And we've got Deputy Director Heffer. I said it right. Heffer. Yeah, I got it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, he had Pollock here, so I'm.
So what's before us is a parking variance for an existing building. And it's very rare when we get some of these for existing buildings, but this is the old Custom Kitchens building, building right on Chicago, right next to Nature's Best. So the petitioner, who runs Urban Tri-Gear, which is currently located up in St. James Crossing and has been very successful in that location, is looking to purchase this property. This property is approximately 7,000 square feet. About half of that is more like storage area. The other half of that is kind of showroom. Whenever a new use moves into an existing building, the parking code says we need to do a parking analysis to see if that new use can fit in that new building or in that old building. In this case, there's only about 10 parking spaces on the property. If you've ever been out there, most of those parking spaces are along Chicago Avenue, right close to the sidewalk. There's a little gravel area that's behind the building that can be used for parking, or the dumpster when they put that in there. But going by the numbers, the code requires 35 spaces. And the reason it requires 35 is we count all 7,000 square feet when we're looking at the parking counts. We don't have a way to discount or rebate that 3,500 square feet of storage area. So what the petitioner did do, and he's not here tonight, he couldn't make it, so I'll try to field the questions. He provided us receipts to show that about 3 transactions an hour occur at his location. So his anticipation is 3 to 4 cars, in the parking lot at any time, plus the employee cars. This was heard before the Planning and Zoning at the November meeting. There was no one that spoke against the request. It was a unanimous vote, yes, recommendation to the board. And as always, I am here for any questions, and I will try to answer those for you.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Barker.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Question. How many bike parking does he have?
Right now, no, but I think he likes this location because it's actually on a route where a lot of those cyclists go through. So I would anticipate that he will add some of those, so.
Some Sheros out on that street.
Mayor, if I could, I'd just like to make a comment. I like to see that in that location, good use of the property, and, the small number, if there's a day where there's more than one customer, everybody has a right to park in the public street, as long as they're not violating the signs. So I think planning and zoning got it right.
Yep. I do too. Yes.
He's relocating from the Pasquinelli address?
At this point, I think he said he has 4 years left on his lease there. He is not sure if he's going to 100% vacate that and move everything to this location, or if he might keep some of that open. What he does right now is he's got storage up around Ty Warner in one of those manufacturing buildings. So he will move his storage of product into this, and then over time grow the retail side, and then make a decision if he's going to have 2 stores or just 1 store.
One more question, Mayor,
Yes.
sorry. There's, demonstrating the retail space and the storage space. We have we have a recourse if I don't want it to turn into a storage facility and never open as a retail space. So what's the timeline for that?
Well, he would have, his business license would have to show that his primary use there is sales. And so that's what the business license would have to have. I know that in early discussions with him, he was going to run, because he does a lot of, for teens, some of the bulk sales of the clothing and such. So I think he's starting with that. But if it was ever all 100% warehousing, we'd have the business license enforceability to basically say you misrepresented yourself. So I don't know if there's a lot of enforcement. If he doesn't always, John's going to fix this for me.
We want to make sure it's a store
Yes.
and not a warehouse.
Yes.
And
I think that's pretty straightforward enforcement action. If there's no primary retail component to it, he's going to get cited and brought in front of administrative adjudication. And
is there a minimum?
the predominant use has to be retail sales. So, he provided a floor plan that showed what portion of the building's used for warehousing, what portion's going to be used for retail sales. And if that changes, or if he doesn't use it for retail sales as indicated, then there'll be, a notice of violation, time to cure, and if it's not cured, administrative adjudication.
Thank you.
And he does a lot with the natatorium too, doesn't he?
Yes, I know he has a pop-up that he does at the natatorium on a regular basis.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on. New business C, a B1 development permit for 7 West Quincy Street. Board to consider an ordinance approving a B1 development permit for Taza Pizza and Chicken, known as Crown's Fish and Chicken, to operate a restaurant at West Quincy Street. Now we've got Deputy Director Hennerfein at the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So what's before us, this is a familiar property. This is 7 West Quincy. It's the former location, and the sign is still up, of Harold's Shrimp and Chicken. So this is I don't want to say similar if the business owner doesn't feel they're similar, but it is a similar fish and chicken operation called Crown's. And I don't believe they're going to be asking for liquor, but the petitioner is here if you have that question for him. But to operate a restaurant that is typically open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday, anticipates 8 total employees. As we all know, that space was renovated for a restaurant, so often we get someone that's before us here that needs to do a lot of renovations. In this case, other than cosmetics and a sign permit for a new sign, I don't believe that the owner is looking at doing any other changes. Of course, I've got the business owner here, if you'd like to have him come up, and he can explain his business concept and his experience.
Yep, we'd like to meet him and hear.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Saeed Ahmed. I've been in the fast food industry for the last 35 years. The smallest one I had like a 7-Eleven, Dunkin' Donut. The major one I just had a few years back, Golden Corral, we opened with my partner, and unfortunately it didn't work out for me. So for the last 35 years, that's all I'm doing. I don't know any other way. I'm not a good cook at home, but
You're going to be at one of several restaurants on Quincy. There's
Yes.
a Japanese restaurant and sushi. You're not going to be open on weekends. That's kind of unusual for other restaurants will be open and you're going to be closed on a weekend?
no, I'm not going to be, I'm open every day,
Oh,
7 days a week,
Oh,
11 to 9. I think that's what I wrote it down.
I'm just
in my-
reading what it says,
Oh, I'm
Monday
sorry.
through Friday. It didn't say anything
No, no,
about
no,
Saturday.
no. I'm
Okay, okay.
every day.
good.
Suggest weekends.
Yes.
That's where the business time is.
That's where I make up my rest of the days.
Mayor,
Yes, Trustee Barker.
are you familiar with the outdoor dining concept there? I'd be curious to say if you were aware of it, were interested in it, and then your restaurant capacity on the inside for, it's not just a carry-out business, it's
It's sit
indoor
down, too.
dining. And are you aware of the outdoor dining?
Yes, I was just talking to Mr. Joe, and I talked to Mr. Scott. He told me about it, what's going to be once they open in the summertime, we'll be dining out. And I'm happily to do that. I'm looking forward to do that.
Okay, thank
Used to
you.
have out dining on Belmont and Broadway when that was my first restaurant, pizza place, yes. 1984, I opened that one.
Great, great. No interest right now in alcohol license?
No, sir,
liquor
not at
license.
all.
Okay. Any other comments? I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Little?
Second.
Motion made in second. Any additional, anybody, Deputy Director, nothing else? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passed. We forgot to ask you when you plan on opening.
As soon as I get a permission from you all, I'll license, you know.
And I'm sure you talked to Larry Forsberg. He's the one to see, he'll promote you and help you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
everybody.
Welcome. New business D, change order number 1, Linden, Warwick, Dallas Water Main Replacement Project. Board to consider ordinance approving change order number 1 for Linden, Warwick, Dallas Water Main Project with H. Linden and Sons Sewer and Water Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $151,706.45, bringing the total project cost to a not-to-exceed amount of $1,133,911.45. Public Director Reese.
Good evening, Board. The value of the original contract for this project was $982,205, and this included replacement of aging water main on Linden, Warwick, and Dallas Streets. So during the course of the project, it was discovered that there was contaminated soil in the project limits. This required additional soil testing, and then the contaminated soil had to be hauled to a landfill on Laraway Road in Joliet to be legally and properly disposed of. The contract did contain a pay item for contaminated waste disposal, but due to the large quantities involved, which was approximately 1,500 cubic yards, we were able to negotiate a reduced price for the disposal. So fortunately, we got a little bit of a break there. So this change order number 1 is also the final change order for the project, and we are requested to add $151,706.45 to the original awarded contract.
Okay, motion to approve the change order?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second Guzzo.
Motion been made and second. On the question, Trustee Barker.
Is there any, do you have any indication the source of that contaminated soil?
Just some anecdotal stuff that in that neighborhood, there used to be some non-residential uses. The contaminants were semi-volatile organic carbons and chromium primarily. So we did some additional testing to see can we get any other disposal options other than Laraway Road, and we ended up still getting all these tests coming back. So.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business E, approval of change order number 1 for the North Elevated Water Storage Tank. Board to consider ordinance approving change order number 1 for the North Elevated Water Storage Tank Project, Phase 2 engineering with Baxter and Woodman for an amount not to exceed $11,400, bringing the total project cost to a not to exceed amount of $107,100. Public Works Director Reese.
This amendment is to cover the cost of some out-of-scope work that was requested from the consultant. So there was some changes to the original contract that included some requests for plats of subdivision and plats of easement, some exhibits and renderings for the Plan Commission of what the tank would look like and the conceptual graphics that would be on the tank, and analysis and permitting for a culvert crossing from the north into the tank site. So this was necessary to complete entitlement and permitting for the project.
Have a motion to approve the change order?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion made, second. Comments?
Collins,
Yes.
under the instructions on the lettering and logo exhibits, is it decided what's gonna be on the tank? I know it's a small issue, but
Yeah, it's actually, it's funny you mentioned that because we were just trying to circle back with the school district to try to get some definitive plans around that so that we can get the contract documents updated and all of that. But it is kind of a big issue because it's the thing that people are going to remember the most at the end when they see, you know, the logos and lettering on the
Yeah,
tank.
if I can just add to that, backing up, and you all are familiar, but, you know, anybody listening, the site is on, we acquired property from the Westmont High School, or, you know, District 201, to spot this tank, and it is on the property where, I mean, we own the property that was carved out for the tank purpose, but it's immediately north of their football field, so part of the sales agreement, if you will, you know, we allowed them the opportunity to, you know, design the logo for the tank, you know, and apply it for their local use.
thank you.
The other side of the tank says not Oak Brook.
Yeah, yeah.
The side that faces the football field will probably be a Sentinel.
And we offered that when we started talking to them, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business F, DuPage Water Commission Water Purchase and Sale Contract. Board to consider ordinance authorizing a water purchase and sale contract between DuPage Water Commission and its contract customers, which includes the Village of Westmont. Public Works Director Reese.
So this is an interesting one. The original contract with DuPage Water Commission was executed in 1984, and it had a 40-year term, which will expire February 24th, 2024. This contract established Lake Michigan Water as the water supply for the village. So the new term of the new agreement will also be 40 years and will expire on February 24th, 2064. So you kind of might have seen it in the news, negotiations ongoing with Chicago, which will be the next item, but this is part of kind of a package of two items that are going to be together. And the contract term, or major contract terms are not changing that much.
Whoever makes this motion has to stay till the end of it. For trustee, anybody want to make the motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Nero.
Motion made and second. Any additional comments? Trustee Barker.
Just a question. There is no other option, right?
And all of our wells have been sealed.
Right.
There is another option.
We know we're not going back there.
Yeah, another option would be very expensive, very difficult, and the water quality would not be nearly as good as what we get from Lake Michigan, in my opinion.
So we've looked at, the county's looked at other options, but this is probably the best one to stay with.
It's the DuPage Water Commission,
Yep.
and this will segue into the next item. They have a relationship with the city of Chicago where we buy pre-treated potable water from Chicago, and then they distribute it. So this agreement is between us and the DuPage Water Commission, while the next one is our input into authorizing the DuPage Water Commission as a member community to negotiate with the city of Chicago.
Any other
Just a
comments?
quick comment.
Yes,
I know
Trustee
at
Nero.
the IML, I think Manager May and maybe even Spencer listened to DuPage sharing a pretty public comment that there's potential of looking at rerouting Chicago if negotiations fail. Is that still on the table? That was a while ago.
They did several very detailed presentations looking at
Yeah.
financial analysis, routing. They are trying to form partnerships with another water commission, with a JAWA, to try to spread the cost over more customers. They've picked a route where they feel that would be easier to construct, more constructible, and size some major components for a new water treatment facility that they would construct and withdraw water from Lake Michigan as their own agency.
just outside of city limits.
Yep, that's exactly right, they're routing
Gotta give
it
the
so
county
that they don't
credit.
have to ask Chicago for anything.
was a-
And
Yeah.
That exact presentation to DuPage mayors and managers yesterday morning as well, so it's
Still
well-known
active.
and open.
Good.
They're proceeding with that
Keep Chicago honest.
plan.
Yep.
They get to raise rates.
They've indicated to us next year to expect a rate increase from DWC of 5% approximately. So the kind of sticking point is two things. One, there's not a cost of service rate from Chicago. They're charging us the same retail rate that they charge like a guy in a house, not a wholesale customer like DWC would be. And the other kind of looming issue is City of Joliet forming a new water agency that they have gotten very favorable pricing from Chicago for that volume that they're going to buy wholesale from Chicago. So the DuPage Water Commission wants those same pricing as Joliet's getting.
Rightfully so.
So, yep. Very interesting.
Yep. Roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to new business G.
Nero.
Oh, Nero, he got you. All right, he voted yes. Resolution concurring with DuPage Water Commission water purchase contract. Board to consider a resolution concurring with the DuPage Water Commission water purchase contract terms with the City of Chicago. And the Public Works Director, Reese, today is your 1 year.
Yes.
Well,
So
good.
happy to be
Everything's
here.
good.
Still happy to be
Everything's
here.
going good. Happy.
So this is part of the process that has to occur for DWC to re-sign a contract with the City of Chicago. So they have to get concurrence in the form of a resolution from all of us, their customers. So their contract with City of Chicago to supply water is due to expire on March 19th, 2024. They've had a committee that they've had going for several years now, this negotiating team, looking at trying to negotiate with the City of Chicago. Their people are returning phone calls, but are not really committing to anything at this point. So that's why they're still going forward with this other water supply analysis. So what they're asking from the members is to extend the contract with City of Chicago not less than 15 years and not more than 20 years. So they think that this will give them enough time to perform a thorough analysis and know what all of their options are in terms of the future costs, treatment from Chicago, they want to have control over the water supply or not. So we recommend concurring with this resolution for the contract terms of not less than 15 and not more than 20 years for DWC with the City of Chicago.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second Guzzo.
Motion been made in second. Do they feel that length of time gives them an option to look at
That was their request.
Yeah,
bringing water out of, away from
yeah.
Chicago?
Well, they're waiting for a few things to happen. They're waiting to see what that final rate with Joliet's going to be, because the existing contract retains this favored nations clause, they call it. So if they give any customer a better price, they have to give it also to the commission. So they're waiting to see how that materializes, and it also gives them enough time to complete, if they decide to go on their own and do their own supply from the lake, it gives them enough time to complete all the engineering and permitting and construction. To construct a plant that size will probably take 3 years or longer, at least.
And I don't know if I read, how long was the one that's in effect now? Was it-
That was also 40 years, I believe.
Okay, it coincided with that. All right. Roll call, please. Oh, trustee,
So every town must sign off on this? That's taking Chicago water, so we're just one of many.
Every town that is a customer of DuPage
Yeah.
Water Commission will be doing this resolution.
And there's quite a few, I'll give like a sampling: Addison, Bartlett, Bensonville, Bloomingdale, Carroll Stream, Clarendon Hills, Darien, Downers Grove, Elmhurst, Glendale Heights, Glen Ellen, Hinsdale, Itasca, Lyle. Lombard, Naperville, Oak Brook Terrace, Roselle, Villa Park, us, Wheaton, Willowbrook, Winfield, Wooddale, Woodridge, and parts of Illinois American, Aqua Illinois, and Argonne National Lab.
It sounds like every community in DuPage
Quite a
County,
few,
35.
quite a few, yep.
All right.
If
Any
you-
other comments? Yes,
Sorry.
trustee Burke.
If you don't partner with them, who are these other municipalities partnering with?
Wells.
Well, once they sign the agreement, they can't have another water like, they have to commit to taking a certain percentage of their, a volume of water from the commission. So, some of the towns have maintained like backup emergency well supplies, and some of them have abandoned their wells.
American.
So Illinois American is probably a member to serve like isolated pockets. And
But
then
that's well water.
some of it's Lake Michigan water.
It is.
Yeah, and then some of it is, you're also correct, there's well water. And then there's some towns, Western Springs is one of them, that have their own water treatment facilities, and they treat groundwater with reverse osmosis.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. Now you can go sit down, so you were up there for a while. New business H, employment agreement. Board to consider ordinance approving an employment agreement for the position of Chief of Police and Chief of Public Safety Officer. Manager May.
Mayor, thank you, and I know you're all familiar, but this is an employment agreement for Chief Jim Gunther. This is an actual promotional activity. He's being promoted to Chief Public Safety Officer. I know the title in here is very formal and long, but the best way to explain it, it is an equivalent role as an assistant village manager. So Chief will be taking on that responsibility with your approval tonight, and have administrative oversight. It's more complicated than that, but, simply put, over the police department, fire department, and some, I call them special projects within the public works department. So that will be the role. He also retains the appointment as chief of police, so that's not being backfilled. He'll still have those responsibilities. Currently operates under an employment agreement, so this employment agreement replaces that one and defines the other responsibilities through the new job description. So
And I know
he's approved for me.
we evaluated this, and it's much needed in the village.
So he'll have a dual role? Is that
He
what
still
you're saying?
carry a gun,
Makes sense.
right, chief? Yeah. No bullets. Can I have a motion to approve the employment agreement?
Ready?
Second, Little.
Motion made and seconded. Any additional comments? No? Chief, no comment? No? All right, roll call, please.
Okay.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Congratulations. New title. New business I, proposed aggregate tax levy. Board to consider a motion determining the proposed aggregate tax levy. And Assistant Village Manager Parker.
We have our interim finance director, Nick Narducci, coming up, who will give a presentation about the aggregate property tax levy.
Should I cover it all again?
Overview quick.
Yeah, I would say just probably a very quick overview. I know it was covered in a lot of detail at the last meeting at the Administration and Finance Committee. If we can get it up there, it'll be good to do a very brief, high-level overview for the public. There it is.
All right, basically, I include some information that's particular to the property tax levy. I don't want to read those to you. You could read about truth and taxation. They do apply here. And PTEL, you're a non-home rule community. So there are some limits there. I do list your equalized assessed value, a definition of how it's calculated, and the separation between your residential and commercial. Again, on that next slide, you could see that the the village is approximately, pardon me, 11.42% of the property tax bill, and this is a representative bill. There are people outside of the Westmont School District, and their levy is going to be a little bit different, but typically cities run that way, about 10, 11, 12% of the entire property tax bill. Next, I give the rates and EAVs for all the municipalities in DuPage County, and I add the fire levies. As I said, this isn't directly representative because fire districts have considerably more costs than a village department, but something has to be added in for those. And I think in time, if you continue to use this, you could continue to evaluate that. And then, as I said, there are some cities who have park systems. But right now, as that sits out of 37 communities, you're about the 12th highest in DuPage, 12th lowest in DuPage County. So you're well below the average of the 0.9992. And this next slide just gives you an idea of what the increase we're asking for, the 5.44%, what the effect that would have on a property owner who owns a home between $300,000 and $600,000. So the addition, for example, in $300,000 would be $441 a year. $600,000 would be $82 a year.
Nick, is that what we're proposing? Is that what we feel we'll get?
That's what we feel we're getting.
Oh, this one, okay.
Yeah, yeah, the 5.44. And again, the thing I didn't mention, I guess, is quadrennial reassessment is being done now in Downers Grove Township. So it should be done by the end of the year. It's really going to affect some of your property values, given what happened in the real estate market over the past couple of years. So, that they're going to be completed by 2023 is what they tell me. And again, here is just some general information about historically how the Village of Westmont has done. Very strong EAV, close to $1 billion. You want to see the EAV increasing, tax receipts increasing, and the rate leveling off. So you've done a real good job of managing that. And again, that comes from good management by everyone, by management and finance and departments. And again, that's what credit rating agencies look for. This is the kind of stability that they like to see when you're issuing bonds and they're giving you a credit rating. And that can have a big impact on the fees, the rates that you pay. What we're looking at in this bottom part of this slide is the prior year tax levy. The next box is what we expect to collect. And the third box is actually what we request. And why do we do that? Because you do an estimate of the equalized assessed value given to you by the assessor. That's not finalized up yet. And when that's finalized up with property tax objections and cases settled, they'll give us a final number. We want to make sure we capture all that growth. So this year we'll be limited to the 5%. That's what the county is going to be using, plus any additional growth we have. There wasn't that much outside the TIF district. We looked at that. However, you want to make sure you capture all that. So you always levy a little bit more, knowing full well you're going to get less. And that's how you come up with numbers like this, where you have that steady EAV growth increase, you have your rate leveling off, and you have your receipts increasing. And then this is just how the levy is calculated individually. Basically, what we're asking for is that we be allowed to levy what the green box says, levy that amount of $8,321,000, and the amount for the library and the amount for the special service area. Special service area requires a separate ordinance, but it's included in the total. And I guess that has to be done by statute for the special service area.
The next item.
That's the next item.
Correct. I'm sorry. Any comments?
If not, I need a motion to determine the proposed aggregate tax levy. That was just presented.
Motion to approve Barker.
Second, Nero.
Motion made and second. Any additional comments? No? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barker,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Brady, trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business J, proposed aggregate tax levy for the Westmont Special Service Area 2, Board to consider a motion determining the proposed aggregate tax levy for Westmont Special Service Area 2, and I'll start with Assistant Village Manager Parker.
And this one, I think we've covered both in the presentation just now and then also earlier in the admin finance. So unless there's anything else you want to add to it, I think we're good.
I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Guzzo.
Motion made and second. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on. Thank you. Miscellaneous, anybody have anything to add other than happy Thanksgiving? It's already next week. If not, I need a motion to adjourn. Motion.
Second, Guzzo.
Motion made and second to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
And again, I thank everyone for attending, and this meeting is adjourned.
Question?